Richard Lee McNair, a name that rewrote the history of prison escapes. He didn't escape once, not twice, but 3 times. And the last one? He literally mailed himself to freedom. Yes, he packed his own body inside a mailbag and shipped himself out of prison. Sounds like a movie, right? But this isn't fiction. This is 100% real. And this is the story of how one man's mind became his greatest weapon. It all began in 1987 in a small town in Louisiana. McNair worked at a local warehouse, but one night during a burglary, everything went wrong. When the police arrived, he panicked and shot an officer dead. That one mistake sealed his fate. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. But McNair wasn't like other inmates. He calmly said, "You can lock me up, but you'll never keep me." Escape number 1. His first escape was something straight out of a crime thriller. Inside the police station, his hands were cuffed behind his back. But McNair had hidden a tiny tube of lip balm in his pocket. He used it as lubricant, slipped his hands free, and walked right out of the station, while the officers were still inside. He didn't make it far, though. Just a few hours later, he was captured again. But his message was clear. He wouldn't stop. Escape number 2. The second time, McNair was sent to a high-security prison. There he spent weeks studying the ventilation ducts above his cell. One night, he made his move. He climbed up, crawled through the vents, and vanished into the dark. He managed to stay hidden for several days, but eventually his luck ran out, and he was caught again. Still, the spark in his eyes said it all. He wasn't done yet. Then came 2006, the escape that made him a legend. McNair was working inside a prison workshop where inmates repaired mailbags for the US Postal Service. He noticed something incredible. Every day, dozens of sealed mailbags were loaded onto trucks and shipped straight out of the prison, unchecked. That's when he came up with a plan so insane it might just work. He stitched together a mailbag large enough to fit his body, climbed inside, sealed it with tape, and left a small air hole near his mouth to breathe. When the time came, the bag was loaded onto a pallet, stacked with others, and carried out through the main gate, right under the guards' noses. Hours later, when the truck stopped outside the prison, McNair ripped open the tape and crawled out, a free man riding in a mail truck. FBI officials couldn't believe it. One of them called him America's most creative escape artist, and they weren't wrong. For Manhunt, for the next 3 years, McNair lived as a ghost. He changed names, grew a beard, and drove across the country under fake identities. He even crossed into Canada, living quietly in motels, reading newspapers about his own escape. People thought he was dead. Then, in 2007, fate caught up with him. A Canadian police officer stopped him for a routine check. At first, McNair talked calmly, showing fake papers, but something felt off. As the officer questioned him, McNair smiled and said, "Officer, I think you've been looking for me." And just like that, the most legendary escape artist was finally caught. This was the unbelievable true story of Richard Lee McNair, the man who mailed himself to freedom. If you love real-life jailbreaks and mind-blowing crime stories, subscribe now to Behind the Crime. And don't forget to like this video for more incredible true stories from the dark side of history.